We all love Pokemon cards, don't we? And we all wish that that one, or even many packs reopen, that we can pull our favorite piece of shiny cardboard to then look at and put away in our collection. That is the dream, but unfortunately it seems like actually pulling those beautiful big hitter filler cards is just getting rarer and rarer. And so, naturally, wouldn't it be amazing if we could just make our own? It would be, wouldn't it? And of course, the easiest way to do that is to draw it. What's up guys, Pokémon here, and welcome to the next episode where today I'll be showing you guys how to draw your very own full art Pokemon cards. Now, we've done this before, that is, drawing our own Pokemon cards, but what we did here in this tutorial was simply a basic Sword and Shield style card. I did include a time-lapse of a full art Groudon card at the end of this video, which is actually this exact card right here, but I did not explain the exact process, and many of you have asked, so without further ado, let's learn how to draw our very own full art Pokemon cards, just like this Groudon right here. Alright, so your first step will be to choose which Pokemon card you'd like to draw. Now if you want to draw a card you already have, then great, simply grab that card and you can use that. But if you want to draw a card you don't have, then you will need to find a separate reference image for it. So when searching for that image, if you already have a general idea of some Pokemon you like, or if you even have an exact card in mind, then simply look that up on Google and find a nice image. But if not, then simply surf around until you find some cards or Pokemon that you would like to draw. For me personally, I've chosen this Mega Rayquaza EX card because, honestly, you can't tell me this isn't one of the best looking Pokemon cards in existence, and who are we kidding? You really can't go wrong with Rayquaza at all. This card is also from the same set as my absolute favorite Primal Groudon card, and as I've always wished I could have pulled this card as well, but never did, this is the perfect opportunity to finally realize that dream. But anyways, I'll go ahead and save this image here, and with that, we've got our reference and we're ready to begin our card. If you prefer, you can also use this time to print your image, which can be helpful if you want to reference that as to scale, so I'll go ahead and do that, and also just leave it open here on my iPad. So your first step when creating the actual card is to choose the paper that you'll be drawing on. You can use any type of paper here that you would like, but obviously, since we are creating Pokemon cards which do have a decent amount of thickness to them, it would be best to pick a type of paper that is similarly thick. And so, with that in mind, what I've got here is some pretty thick cardstock type paper, which is not quite as thick as a real card, but it should still do a good job. And once you've chosen your paper, it's time to cut your card out, or at least what will soon become your card. So for this, I'm simply taking a real Pokemon card and tracing it onto my piece of paper. This is probably the easiest way to get the exact size of a Pokemon card, but if you do not have a real Pokemon card available to trace, which I guess is understandable because I imagine many of you will be drawing your first cards here for the first time, then in that case, you can simply take a ruler and draw your own box. The exact size of a Pokemon card is 6.3 centimeters in width by 8.8 centimeters in length, or about 2.48 by 3.46 inches, so take your ruler and just measure that out. And once that's done, we've got to cut our card out, so go ahead and grab either a crafts knife or a pair of scissors and get that card cut out. And while you're at it, you can also take this opportunity to round the corners of your card so that it fully completes the look. If you did originally trace your card, then this should be very easy because you're just cutting along a line that you already drew, but if you did not trace your card, then you will just kind of have to eyeball the rounding. The main thing here is just to be careful not to cut off too much, because if you cut too little, that's easy to fix, but if you cut too much off the card, then obviously that's a bit harder. And with that, we're ready to move on to the drawing. Every single step from here on out will have only to do with this piece of paper and making it look like a real card. This is also where our reference image from earlier comes into play, so pull that up, either the digital or the physical version that you may already have or previously chose to print out. We will then begin copying its template, so not the Pokémon art, but everything else around it. Basically, all these borders and other elements, but not the text, because the text we will be leaving for the very end. Now, depending on which full art card you have chosen, whether it's an EX, GX, V, or whatever else, this step will obviously vary slightly as each card looks a little bit different, but honestly, it's not too much different at all. It's really just slight variations in the style of border and whatnot. My card here is an EX, but if I had a V, I'll be doing pretty much the exact same thing here, just maybe with a giant V in the upper left corner and some different elements here at the bottom. Honestly, the V card template is a lot more simplified than the one I'm doing, but there's just something about these old school, or I guess old school-ish, if you want to call them that, EX cards that just make them look so awesome. But anyways, I'll go ahead and finish this template and I'll be right back with you guys. And once you're finished all your template elements, we're now ready to move on to the actual art. This will definitely vary based on the cards you are doing, and unless you are following along with this exact Rayquaza card, yours will most likely look different, and this step is pretty much entirely in your own hands. There's really not much I can tell you here, except to do your best. Staring at that blank canvas and starting is always by far the most difficult part of any art piece, and it's also the part that most people never get past, so if you can get past that, you're golden, even if it's just a line in the same general area. The trick is not to think too much here and just relax. Put something down and work with it. If it doesn't look good, great. Use what doesn't look good about it to adjust it until it does. I would recommend drawing lightly with your pencil and starting with the largest elements of your Pokemon, simply working from there. Like I said, it's much easier to progress with your drawing when you have something down. Anything, really, even if it's not perfect, because it'll provide you with a reference point. And the great thing with pencil is that you can simply erase it if you don't like it, so no worries at all. Just do your best to draw exactly what you see in front of you, and the drawing will just slowly come together. By the end, you'll be surprised that you could have possibly created something like this, but you did. Don't think too much about it and just do it. Trust me when I say I've surprised myself with almost every single drawing I've ever done, and I think you will too. So just don't worry, you got this, and I'll be right back with you guys when we're done this drawing. And there we go, in pretty much the time it took me to give you guys some tips on drawing, I finished the drawing. You guys saw the whole process too, and was it really that bad? I don't think so. But anyways, we're now ready to move on to color, and with this, the choice of medium is yours entirely. Choose whatever you are most comfortable with, whether that be pencil crayons, markers, or even paint. I'm sure there's others too, and if you're the psycho who likes to use pastels, I'm not judging you, okay, maybe a little, but if you have the skills to pull that off, and the patience, props to you, and I'd love to see a picture of your completed project. So go ahead and choose whatever you'd like, and really, any medium can produce cool results, and I've actually done some really awesome looking cards in just pencil crayons, as you can see here, but for this video, I will be using paint. I just love using paint, and I feel I can never go wrong with it. It turned out amazing on my Groudon card, so let's see if we can do it again. Double or nothing, right? And as you can see, even now with the painting nowhere near complete, this card is really starting to form itself. It's looking amazing so far, but honestly, isn't that a bit of a given when you're drawing such an insanely cool Pokemon as Mega Rayquaza? His design, I mean, the original card's design, is really doing a lot of the heavy lifting here, and I'm really glad actually that after so long, I will finally have this card, and maybe it'll be even a more special version too, as this one is completely hand-drawn. On a side note, I have to say, Mega Evolution is by far one of my favorite gimmicks Pokemon has ever introduced. Don't get me wrong, Z-moves are pretty cool, and Gigantamax, well, Gigantamax is alright in my opinion, but I always just thought Mega Evolution was so intriguing. Less of a gimmick, really, because it was actually very useful too and could seriously turn the tide of a battle. I remember back in Pokemon X and Y, definitely ORAS too, I actually built my entire team with Mega Evolution in mind, and only chose Pokemon that can Mega Evolve, but with Z-moves and Gigantamax, you don't really get any of that, and as every Pokemon can do it, it doesn't really matter what Pokemon you pick. Also, Mega Evolution was a great way to take Pokemon that may have fallen a little under the radar and give them fresh appeal. Suddenly the likes of Glalie and Pinsir were actually viable, and Pokemon like Lucario, Garchomp, Charizard, and even Rayquaza here were even cooler, if that's even possible. Anyways, I'm going on and on here, but the point is, I loved Mega Evolution, and I have no idea why they decided to scrap it. Hopefully they bring it back in some future title, and who knows, maybe you guys watching this far in the future will already have the answer to that, so why don't you comment and let me know. But back to the present, we're almost done with this painting, so I'll go ahead and finish this up, and I'll be back with you guys soon. So there it is, we did it, and at this point, you might think that we're done, and we could be, but for me personally, I also think it'll be really cool to do the back of the card to really complete that look. This step isn't really necessary if you don't think it's worth it, and you won't be looking at the back of your card too much, but if you would like to do the back, then go for it. So it's pretty much the same exact steps here as with the front of our card. I'm starting off with a sketch and pencil, and once that's done, I'll go ahead and color it in. Honestly, this was not nearly as difficult as the front of the card, so I'll go ahead and whip this up quickly, and although it definitely took me a little bit of time to do, for you guys, I'll see you very soon once it's completed. So there we have it. With that, we've just drawn our very own full art Pokemon card. I say we because I hope you guys were following along, and if you did end up making your very own card, send me a picture on Instagram or Twitter at Witcomon, or even in my Discord channel, which is linked below. I would really love to see all of your creations. If you weren't though, that is following along with the tutorial, don't worry. I'm happy all the same that you found me enjoyable enough to watch all the way through, but anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and without further ado, stay tuned for the next episode.